I kind of like the kills that are more hands-on, almost without a weapon. You know, it just, again, shows the power, twisting somebody's head and, you know, till it comes off. That takes some strength. Believe me, I've tried it. It's not easy to twist somebody's head off. And the human skull is much more resilient than you think it is. And heavier. The human head is a heavy piece when you hold it in your hands. As far as playing the character, since there had been 6 movies before me, I had been a fan of the movies for a long time, a horror fan in general. And I had watched all the previous movies, loving the character of Jason, never having any clue that I might have a chance to do it myself. But what I tried to do when Buechler finally convinced them that I should play the character in Part 7, I tried to not, I mean, I watched all the movies again just to see kind of like how he had moved and stuff like that in the previous ones, but I kind of went into it without any real plan. I wanted to just do what felt natural. And I've said this before, but so in scenes that involved especially the violent stuff, I would kind of just go into it and do what I felt was right, and it seemed to work out for the best. When I started seeing the footage of what I had done, I thought, oh, okay, that looked pretty real, pretty believable, and my biggest goal was to not look like I was acting. You know, it's hard to be scary without your facial expressions or your voice. I'm sure people have said that before, but it's a very difficult thing, and I just wanted to make it look like I wasn't acting. And you know, sometimes some of the stuff I do was not hard to get to. I think maybe it's because I'm kind of maybe a violent guy inside or something. To get to those violent points didn't take long. So I would just do stuff that felt natural. And from each movie, I didn't really want to change it, even though the setting might change. You know, New York, space, the evil going into other people. I kind of wanted to keep Jason constant. Each movie I did was a different makeup effects person, so they did their own design. People ask me, why does the makeup change so much from movie to movie, and the hockey mask changes and everything else? You know, basically it's because it's a different makeup effects person who designs it, and they don't necessarily stay true to the previous movie all the time, especially with the ones I did. And Jason Takes Manhattan was completely different makeup, but for most of the movie, I just had a cowl, a whole headpiece, and my whole face was open. The makeup process was a lot easier in Jason Takes Manhattan. Then Jason Goes to Hell, which was K&B makeup, full latex bodysuit, full head, and now they designed the hockey mask so that it looked like it had been on him so long that the skin had grown around it. So that made it extremely difficult to work in. The makeup process was probably only 2 hours at the most to get everything on, but the hard thing was not being able to take the hockey mask off between shots. If you do something violent and, you know, with a lot of energy, it takes your breath away. You want to be able to take that thing off and catch your breath. Well, I couldn't take it off between shots, so I had to catch my breath while breathing my own exhaled air. Not easy to do at all. Jim Isaac's kids were going to school because we were in Toronto for so long, and his son brought his class in, and, you know, of course I did the old stay in the Jason costume and lean against the wall and pretend I was a dummy so that they could come in and look at the Jason dummy that would suddenly move and scare the hell out of them. And, you know, a kid went into a fetal position. One of them felt a little bad, but not really. None of those kids wanted to look at my eyes. So that's when you know, you don't like looking at my eyes. Well, how about that? You know, you walk over in front of them, and I guess I'm a little cruel, but I gotta have some fun too. I always have fun wearing the costume. Within the Freddy vs. Jason movie, I can't really think of any scenes that I would have looked at and said I wouldn't have done it that way because, you know, granted, I come in with some preconceived ideas about Jason that I think certain things that he would do and what he wouldn't do. And I try to not be a pain in the ass about it. But I figure, you know, I've done 4 movies. I kind of know the character as I have done it, so that I didn't want things to change too much. And in the Freddy vs. Jason movie, I would have preferred Jason to not look as frightened of water and things like that as he was. But again, that's a big story point that I might not have been able to avoid anyway. After seeing the movie, I guess I was kind of hoping that I would see a scene to say, oh, that's why. That's something I guess I wouldn't have been able to pull off. But honestly, there's nothing in the movie that I saw that I wouldn't have been able to do. And I think I would have put a little more energy into most of the killing, but, you know,